Hey everybody, it's Stacy with Pageantry Now, and on our second interview, which is actually a double hitter, this is the first time we're going to be able to do two title holders at a time, so I'm super excited. Give you something to do while we are in the midst of what's seeming to be utter chaos today and this week, and hopefully everybody is well, and this will be just something hopefully to take your mind off of social media a little bit and the news and have a good time. I have on the title holders, I have Miss and Ms. Nationwide. They're going to be on and they're going to be talking about the system, being title holders, why they're doing this crazy thing, pageantry. But before we start with them, oh, and by the way, happy St. Patty's Day. I know I'm bummed, like I'm wearing green, but it's like not the same. But if you haven't been to Pageantry Now, we're all about positivity and pageantry and being able to highlight the amazing things title holders are doing using a crown and a sash to change their world. So often we only see the negative things that happen in pageantry, or you see somebody get crowned and then you don't hear anything else from them. So our job here is to try to let you a little bit more into the world of pageantry and really see how these title holders are changing their world. If you have questions, please ask them in chat. Uh, Keep things positive because we do have MPG-13 because we do have teenagers that watch the show, and we want to make sure that everything's appropriate for them to see. If I see an appropriate question, I will ask it out loud and then pull it up on the screen so that everybody can see it in the replay later on. So just hold tight. And like I said, if you got questions, ask them. If you have friends, family that you want to invite, please do it now before we go live or before we have the title holders join us. And I think that's pretty much it. And if you haven't already, like our page, follow us on Instagram. Oh my God, my brain stopped working. And subscribe to us on YouTube because we have different interviews and different content on all three formats. And I think that's it. So here we go. See if we can get this to work. Oh, I got two of you. Let me see. Yes, there. I've got all of
Success.
us on, so they can see you. I don't have the lower third down, so let me see if I can try to work on doing that. In the meantime, if you can both, Ava, introduce yourself and tell us who you are and your title, please.
Yeah, so hi, my name's Ava. I'm the current Miss Nationwide 2019. Um, I got into that system a long time ago, a couple years after it began. So I've seen it change and grow and change ownership, and it's just been a really fun journey the whole time.
And so this was. Have you competed multiple times then, and this was, or just a journey that you've been following as it's gone and it's grown?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
So I was following it when it first started, and then I started competing. I had like local titles like Miss Tucker County nationwide and competed for the state of West Virginia a couple times before I actually won that title. Then I went to nationals and then I competed for Miss Ohio nationwide and won the nationwide title with the Ohio State one.
Got
So
it.
it was a journey.
All right. And Angela.
Well, I'm Angela Harwell, and I live in Lakeland, Florida. And I have competed in the past and held several state titles and a couple national titles, and had actually been away from the pageantry stage for about 10 years. And I went back this past year, and I luckily won, and I'm very honored to represent the nationwide system. And I'm just going to say this, the reason I chose this pageant when I came back after 10 years is and I hopefully we'll discuss this more today. I think the platform that Troy has put together for this pageant is absolutely outstanding.
You guys are both 2019, right? I'm putting up the lower third now, so I figured out how I could do it.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure I've got the right year. So, and Angela, I think I know you from other systems. Like, I mean, I know you said you just came back, but I'm pretty sure back in the Turn for the Judges days that I stalked you
Oh,
a little
yes.
bit. Oh my goodness.
I remember that publication. Oh,
Oh my
yes.
goodness. So
Yeah.
that's so cool. Well, it's good. It's good to come back and for you to be back and spreading your wings again in something in a system. I know that has brought a lot of joy to a lot of women that really have a heart for community service and uh, not not the typical beauty pageant from what we see maybe on TV, which I think is really important that we have these opportunities for women to explore, in different age groups to explore different parts of pageantry and what happens with that. And I know that Troy is an amazing director and that he really takes to heart the women that he works with and the entire platform for the nationwide pageants in general. So you guys are in good hands. So that's awesome. So I don't know, are the areas of competition the same for Miss and Ms.?
Yes, we all competed in the same areas. And of course, for me, no swimsuit. So that was another deciding factor for me because there comes a point where it's like, okay, enough's enough.
Oh, you're
Not
young.
knocking the women who do it, but I'm beyond that now.
But you know what? Like, I mean, I'm getting, I'm toying with the idea of doing another system that has swimsuit, which I think is pretty crazy because I haven't done a swimsuit competition uh, a long time. I'll say a long time. It's been a couple of days. I mean, I've walked New York. I walked New York Fashion Week in September, and then I've walked Miami Swim Week the last couple of years. But I figure if I can walk Swim Week in a bathing suit at age
You
52,
got it.
yeah, 53, I'm like, okay, I think we're all right.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
All right. So tell me, I don't know, Ava, you want to tell me the areas of competition?
The areas of competition, you have your personal interview. Something that's unique to our system is in the personal interview, you have a platform presentation to the judges where it's just you presenting what you're about. You have on-stage question, and you have outfit of choice, evening gown, and you also have an on-stage platform statement where you get to readdress your platform specifically to let everybody in the audience know what you're about as well, which is something that not a lot of systems get to see. They only see what you're wearing on stage. They don't get to hear the brains behind the
Right.
beauty.
All right. And then, Angela, what are the percentages of the competition? Do you know?
Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head at all, unfortunately.
Ava, do
I
you
will
know?
say this though.
I
But
know that if you total up like the onstage question and interview and things about your platform, I think it's like 60% of your overall score. So most of your
yeah,
score is your ability to present yourself, to answer questions, to present the system in whole. So that's one of the reasons why I like it as well. It puts a lot more emphasis on the brains.
Cool. And then it's evening gown, and then is there like fun fashion too, or?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
and state costume. We did a state costume
Are you
also.
serious?
Um,
How did I not know that? I know Tiffany. Like, I don't know how I don't know that. Oh my God. Okay. Well, now I know. All right.
I think though, to me though, I want to say this though, I think the interview for this pageant over any other system I did was probably the most incredible part. And I kind of fret over it a little bit beforehand because you do get to put together either a PowerPoint or a paper presentation, whatever you want, because you're going to go in there and you're going to show these judges, we talk about an interview as you're interviewing for a job.
Right,
Well,
right.
this really was like a job interview. It
yeah.
wasn't just sitting there having them ask you, and I've been asked some stupid questions like, if you were an ice cream, what flavor would you be? What difference does that make? Let's talk about what I bring to the table that's going to qualify me for the job. And this pageant, it was a 10-minute interview, was definitely a true interview.
That
Yes.
is phenomenal.
Wholeheartedly agree.
I think the longest interview I did was a 10-minute interview, and we had, it was for another system that's not around anymore, and we had a 3-minute intro statement that's kind of similar
Mhm.
to what you guys are talking about, where you get to talk about what you're passionate about, what your platform is, and I will never forget. I finished my statement, and then all the judges just sat there staring at me, and I went,
Mhm. Awkward.
"Anybody want to ask me a question?" And they all went, "Nope, we're good." And I went, "I've got
Oh,
7 more minutes. What do you?"
Yeah, that's horrible.
Well, I mean, and then afterwards, like they I think they were afraid to talk to. I mean, because I, you guys don't know me, but I am a three-time cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with terminal cancer 23 years ago, and so my passion is about that experience and being able to tell people and give people hope. And I think that the judges, the entire, all of them just went. So did either one of you have that feeling when you did your presentation that it was kind of, yes, I've done all of this and now ta-da? Or was it more conversational from the standpoint of you did your presentation and then they were asking you questions as you did it?
I know for me, I felt like my interview went really quick. I remember them saying, okay, your time's up. And I go, are you serious? It's over already? And we were laughing, we were having fun. And I walked out of there and I thought to myself, that was the most amazing interview I've ever had. The judges, I felt like we're in tune. They really wanted to know me. Again, it wasn't those stupid fluff questions that drive us all insane.
Right.
They really were giving a quality interview. And then Ava mentioned earlier, during the competition, we get to go out on stage and we do a platform statement. And this is one of the problems I have with a lot of systems. And I hear a lot of people talk about pageantry in a negative light because I think we're all cookie cutter women. We're all supposed to be some kind of sexy symbol out there. They never look into the heart where the real beauty of a woman is, or any individual for that fact. And so when you get to go out there and you get that 60 seconds to speak to that audience and let them know this is what I'm all about, this is what I'm passionate about, and this is what I want to do,
Right.
that to me just brings it to a whole new level and gives it a lot more credibility.
Exactly, because I've competed in other systems as well, and then going and talking to people and doing appearances, they don't even know about platforms. They don't know that there is something that we stand for.
Right.
They think that it's just wearing a dress and that's it.
And that's one of the reasons that, like, for me, I started doing this was because I find that so often uh, the platform, the reason, the purpose behind doing this insane sport, because I mean, to some degree I think it's a sport. It's a mission. Like, there is no messing around when it comes to this whole experience. So and I wanted to be able to give people an opportunity to really see, behind the curtain, essentially having that, that Wizard of Oz effect and being able to say, hey, this is what it's really like. So with Ava, I know that you said you competed before for nationwide. Is this your first system that you competed for, or have you competed before in pageantry?
I've competed before in pageantry. I started out just doing like fairs and festivals, local things, and then I moved on to the America system. Whenever I was about to age out of the America system, I tried to find others that I still qualified for, one of which was Earth United States. And in between all of that, I found Nationwide. So I followed it for a couple of years because it was very young, wanted to see what it was about. And then I've competed with Nationwide for, I think, 4 years before I got where I wanted to go.
And the good thing is that you can grow with it, which is, since there's multiple divisions, there's the opportunity so that if and when you get married, not everybody wants to be married, you can go into the Mrs. or you can go on to Ms., which I think is super, super important to have those opportunities too. Because if you like a system, you kind of get that heart for that system, and I know, and if you're me, like I'm a Mrs. in a system right now, but I'm gonna go on to the elite division because I can. So why not do it? So,
Exactly.
and what about with you, Angela? I mean, I know you've been around pageantry for a couple of days, so let's talk a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, I've been around a couple of days. And it was funny for me. The first time I ever got involved in pageantry was based on a dare. I was working in an office where a pageant director came in and saw me, and she says, "Wow, you're really attractive. You should do pageants." And again, for your PG viewers, I just said, "Lady, I don't know what you've been smoking, but that is not going to happen."
It's legal here
Anyway,
in Florida. We're good.
But long story short, I ended up getting encouraged and I went and did it. And my first was in the Florida United States system. And I'm telling you, talk about green. I didn't know there were pageant coaches. I had no idea what I was getting to. I bought my dress for like $99 at a Dillard's or something. I had no idea, but I ended up placing in that pageant. And then I was told, hey, you placed, so now you've got to go back. And I said, what? I go, okay, well now I get a coach. I learned all the things I guess you're supposed to do. So anyway, I've done United States. I went back and did Galaxy just as a trial run, ended up winning Florida Galaxy. I placed in the top 5, I think, at
What
Galaxy
year?
Nationals. This would have been 2007.
Oh, so after Maria. Okay. All right, cool. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, Maria was there.
Yeah, I
Maria
know.
was there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
Um,
Maria, because Maria was she was Mrs. Galaxy before she became the director. So,
that's correct. So anyway, and then I went back and I did Florida United States a couple more times and finally ended up getting that title, which I really enjoyed. And I'll say that was a great pageant title. I really enjoyed that and did a lot of work with that.
under Pam.
Pam Bolter, who ran
Yeah.
that, yes, and she had called it the pageant with a purpose. And then I think when I went to Vegas for nationals, I was in the top 12 or something like that. And then I did a couple other smaller pageants, and I also direct briefly for a couple of years for the Miss Florida local here in Lakeland for the winners to go on to Miss America. I did that for a couple of years too because I really enjoy helping those young ladies.
I enjoy helping them. I do not enjoy being a director in Florida.
Yeah.
I was a local director. Or I was on a board of directors in Texas for Miss America, and then when I came to back to Miami in 2010, uh, it, I don't know what I was thinking. I became the Miami MAOT director, and then realized that it's not the same family here. It's not the same feel. Like in Texas, Texas is all, yeah. Pageantry changes depending on. I saw Ava kind of go like this. Pageantry, it
Mhm.
depends on the state that you're in that
Mhm.
develops the community. And Florida has this really weird dichotomy between north and south is how people Angela, you're nodding. You know exactly what I'm talking
And
about. Yes.
extremely competitive, which I think takes away from it.
Yeah. I
Just my opinion.
No, I agree too. And I agree. And that's one thing that I found it very polarizing and it just wasn't the right place for me. And honestly, my husband was like, you are never directing a pageant. I mean, after, because he wasn't married to me when I was in Texas doing it. And he was like, no, we are never doing this again. And,
Mhm.
but it's a hard job. It's really hard. And I think that's kind of why we went to this because this allows me to really help and share stories and share the experiences in a positive light without, I mean, I'm certainly not bashing the America system. I love it. I love everything that it stands for. And I'm super excited because one of my friends is now on the board of directors, which I'm so excited about. So we'll hopefully see some good positive changes that are integral to keeping Miss America alive too. So, and I think nationwide is really based on that same idea of this Miss America system. Don't you guys agree?
I think it probably relates to it more now with the changes that have come about since they've gone to their, it was Miss America 2.0 or whatever they're calling it. I would say they kind of mirror each other a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
What about you, Ava? Do you feel like this was like the next step in the evolution for you?
I feel like it was because my experience in the America system, I needed something without talent. I was talented out at that point after
Really?
doing it for so many years. I wanted something different where they could see more of me instead of me behind a flute. So,
Oh, and that's hard to be able to present your personality as a flautist too. So that's got to be kind of difficult, even though I'm sure it takes way more talent. Well, I I I was a flautist for a very short amount of time because I was like, this is really hard. I'll play oboe all you want, but not not flute.
yeah, and then
Okay.
with how strict they are around if you do play an instrument in the America system, how if you have background music, it cannot have your instrument in it or you're disqualified. You can't have sheet music. You have to have everything memorized.
Right.
There were a lot of rules. I mean, I played Pirates of the Caribbean, wore pirate costume. It was super fun and I loved it. But it also comes down to the judges too. Judging an instrument is a lot harder than judging on if you think that somebody's a good dancer or if you like how somebody's voice sounds. So I knew that I was good, but it was harder to convince other people that I was if they didn't know about instruments.
It is
So
so cool as you're moving, your sash is giving off these sparkles. It's so cool. Like I'm so sorry, squirrel. I'm so sorry. But I'm like seeing these little things that are like coming behind your head, and it's like little glitter flashes. It's so adorable. So Beautiful sashes, by the way. They're beautiful. They look amazing. And I mean, clearly it's not about the regalia. I mean, of course, the sashes and the crowns make it easier to have opportunities to share your platform, but that's really, the heart of the system is really about being platform specific. So, Angela, what's your platform and why?
Well, I've always been someone who volunteered. And as I said, my platform statement at this particular pageant is something that's been instilled to me as a small child from my grandparents to my parents. My mom and dad still volunteer. My mom and dad are out there living in Missouri now, and they're delivering meals like 3 days a week. And I'll call, mom's busy. I mean, it's just been a part of my life. So when I had to come up with an actual platform for this pageant, I just said, keep calm and volunteer. So some of the things I started doing back, well, going back to over 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. How old am I? Anyway,
You're
it's,
just
it's,
29.
that's right. I'm 29 and holding, but it's about giving back to your community. But the other thing I found, there was a need in pageantry. So many girls get involved, but they don't know how to get appearances or how to get busy out in the community. So I do that. And the other thing I do, which has been really rewarding, and I actually did it at my old high school, I go in and talk to those kids who are at risk and try and help them learn, you know what, not everybody's going to go to college. Not everybody's going to be that rocket science. Get out into your community, meet people, because that's a great way to grow and also move forward in life too. And so I try to encourage people to do that. But that's my big thing. I was at an event a couple of weeks ago for a friend of mine who was having a ribbon cutting for her new business. And a local title holder who's going to be competing for her state was there. And I could tell the poor girl looked lost. And I've already taken her under my wing. And she was singing the national anthem the other day at a sporting event. But that's what I do. So I say, keep calm, volunteer. It's just about giving back to other people. And I find that when I do that and I see them achieve, I feel so much better.
That's awesome. And honestly, that's to the matter of pageantry. To For most of us, I think we do this because we do have a strong heart for volunteerism and getting involved. And so, and there isn't enough news coverage of that. I mean, generally, you're on the news when you win for like a 3-minute piece on, the local news, and that's it. So, having opportunities to be able to go out and share your story, be able to help, be a mentor. Like everyone's like, will you coach me? I'm like, I don't coach, I mentor. I don't charge for it. I don't want to do that. I want to be that person that's there to lift people up in this experience, because it's not easy. It's expensive. Like this is, I say it often, this is a crazy sport. Why would you choose it? So we will get to that answer that question in a minute. Ava, tell me about your platform and why you chose it.
Okay, so my platform is It Shouldn't Be Tricky, and tricky is spelled differently. It's Trichy. It's in reference to trichotillomania, which that is a rare subset of OCD that I personally have. And it wasn't until the nationwide system and competing for nationals, not last year, but the year before for the first time, that I chose that to be my platform, that I chose to come forward and show my face without makeup, at least in pictures. And the reality of it is, like, I don't have eyebrows and eyelashes. They don't exist on my face. I pull them out. That's what it is. It's the hair pulling disorder. And with me being a 1% of a 1%, I need to be that face that I didn't see when I was growing up
Right.
to help normalize it and help people know that it's actually there, because I didn't even get the diagnosis till I was halfway through college, because nobody knew what was going on or what I had, why I was different. And then once I got that word, everything melted away. It completely changed everything. And nationwide pageantry gave me the courage to present that to the world. So now I'm on that mission to help destigmatize mental illness and being able to go and see a therapist and get help without judgment. So it's been a big turning point.
That's amazing.
I want
And yeah, go ahead,
I
Angela.
want to I want to add in here something about Ava that I thought was so amazing. When we had to do ads and stuff for the program book, and I just remember seeing Ava's ad, and it was so cool to see. I mean, this girl's got a brave heart, and she really does have a statement to make to people. But her ad was one side of her face is made up, and the other one without. and you get to see, the difference and everything. And I thought, man, talk about a statement. That's amazing. And she puts herself out there. So I give her a ton of credit. She's really awesome.
That's fantastic, and that's the part of this too. Since we're all sharing, I mean, I said to you both, I said this is a conversation. So you know, I I was diagnosed late in life with autism. Uh, I was actually in my 40s, which I'd been misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder for years. I was on medication, and then when I was working on my master's, actually working to become a behavior therapist, one of my professors was like, "Have you taken the test?" And so that I can help you in your destigmatization as well, Ava. My when I would get stressed and I would present when I was having issues, I would pull my hair out in huge chunks. So half of my head would be,
Mhm.
here I am, I'm 16, I'm competing in pageants, and half of my head you can see my scalp. Um, I just got my first extensions today. What do you think? If you watched the interview earlier today, I did one earlier. My hair is not. My husband came in and he goes, "Look what you just got." I'm like, I've never worn them ever, so this is the first time for me to do it. But um, it took me a while to be okay with being able to say to people, "I've got this problem." And I'm sure you're probably experiencing this right now, just with the changes that are going on in the country. That heightens the anxiety, that heightens the what you're going through, and it makes it a whole lot harder to deal with. So are you doing okay right now? Like, I know that with everything that's going on, this has got to be really scary. So Ava, yeah, you okay?
Yeah, with all of that, it has been, in all honesty, because I mean, the lady that sits beside of me at work last week, she had to go home. She was indirectly exposed to the virus, and I'm like, oh, she sits beside me, and then I had to move my desk at work. They're trying to move me to work at home this week. I mean, I feel fine. I think everything's gonna be okay. I mean, I washed my hands. I didn't even put contacts in today for the interview, not touching my face any more than necessary. So, I mean, I think in the end, everything will be okay. I think everybody else is more worried than I am,
Well, and
but
you're
it's
in Ohio, so there's a much higher. In Florida, we are starting to feel it. So, Angela, I asked you before we went live, are you doing okay? Are you in a safe place? Do you feel you're okay with what's going on? I mean, ugh.
I feel good. I mean, I do think people need to take this maybe a little bit more serious. I've had some people, of course, I'm watching stuff on Facebook, and I'm making jokes too. I mean, got to have a little bit of sense of humor. Come
You
on, it's
have
Armageddon
to.
out
That's
there.
the only way you're going to get through it.
But just be smart, be wise, but I'm in a good place. I'm hunkered down. My boyfriend's here. I've got the dogs. We've got plenty of food. My daughter came by earlier. I said, look, if you're hungry, come over. I don't care. We're going to be fine. I just want everybody to get through this and everybody be safe and wise on how you wash your hands and, follow the protocols that they've put out there.
Well, and I think that that's the thing too is that, I know in Ohio you guys have had more cases than we've had in Florida, but Florida is, I'm going to rub my eye. I'm going to hit myself later for it, I'm sure. Um, but uh, we are multiplying exponentially. Like we've had twice as many cases today as we did yesterday. But I think also too, you know, and I'm certainly not going to try to increase anybody's anxiety, but this is a real situation, and we're all in this together, and we all have to kind of work as a community to be able to help support each other. Um, and 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 I know, like myself included, that the stressors make things worse. Having that external pressure just is like, and it's hard to shut it off with social media and the news constantly giving updates. So I just hope that you are both feeling safe and okay, and that you know. I mean, I know Troy messaged me that they're shutting his store, so he's busy there. Otherwise, he
I
would be
saw that.
here. So he'll be able to go back and watch it later on. So, all right. So why this crazy thing pageantry? Loaded question. Who wants to go first?
Well, I'll do it because I can sum up real quick. I mean, for me, like I said, it was a dare, and don't dare me.
What did your
So
coworkers say when you went ahead and did it? Or was it just
well,
somebody at work? It was somebody at work?
no, we were in a small physician's office, and anyway, it was basically, and we were hard on each other. Man, we were hard on each other. But anyway, it was pretty much, you got to do it. And my late husband, he was all gung ho for it, and he and I were doing charity work anyway, and we just figured, you know what, this is a great opportunity to maybe help bring a little more light to these charities. And so I'll quickly bring up something that happened, and I still get ridiculed about this, but when I was giving up my Galaxy crown, long story short, I have a bad knee, 14 surgeries. I was doing injections before
Wow.
having a knee replacement. Okay. I had an adverse effect from the injection, but it was the same weekend I was giving up my Galaxy crown. So I ended up in the hospital after the pageant. So I get a call while I'm in the hospital, and I won't go into all the details how this happened, but they were asking me, would I like to do the Dr. Phil show? Because it had gotten out that I had been doing all of these charity events and making an impact in different areas, and they would love to have me come on the show. They were doing a show about the positives of pageantry. And of course, I'm in the hospital and I'm having chest pains and this reaction. And I said, what? Wait, okay, let me get back to you. So long story short, my husband and I did decide to do the show to focus on Camp Boggy Creek, which is here in Florida. It's part of the Hole in the Wall gang camps found by Paul Newman. And we did the show. And I won't go into detail because under contract with Dr. Phil, you're not supposed to talk about it. But it was not the best light of me. Editing can make you look really bad, and they succeeded at that. We left LA very upset, but I don't call it a failure because I got a lovely letter, an email not long after we got back, and they said, you know what, at least they did plug the camp and we did pick up some volunteers. So to me, this crazy thing, yeah, I've done some crazy stuff, Dr. Phil, crazy thing, been in the dunking booth, done all that. But you know what, if it brings attention and makes a positive for just one person, why not? Just why not? So that's my whole deal. That's why I continue to do it. Now, I've been gone for 10 years. I came back to do this one. Will I continue? I don't know. I'll think
I
about it.
come and I
I'll think
go.
about
I
it.
started competing when I was 16, and I've been doing it for 37 years now. And um, I did not compete in America just because I say I wasn't talented. So, and there was that whole Vanessa Williams thing. I'm a very strong supporter of Vanessa Williams, and
She's awesome.
and still the most, I would say probably the most famous Miss America. But I didn't have a talent that I felt I could do, so I competed USA. But yeah, like, and I come and I go. Like, I go through it, and I competed Mrs. America World. I won the title of Mrs. America Worldwide. Not the worldwide now, worldwide that became Global United. So same system. Um, I mean, I come and I go. Like, I take my time and I go away for a little while, and then I come back, and I don't know. And what about you, Ava? What?
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
but I was going to say, and Ava could probably touch on this because you've done multiple systems too. It's funny when you talk about pageantry to people and they go, well,
What?
you were Mrs. Florida, right?
Yeah.
Well, they don't understand that there's probably 30 of those out there because there's all these different systems. And then you try to explain it, just forget it. The common people are not going to get it.
Yeah. I've had to try to have that talk several times because like where I have a vlog channel, I get people that try to troll on there and they're like, well, I just Googled it and it says this person's Miss Ohio, not you. And I'm like, yeah, but what system?
Right.
And then I have to go into all of that. And sometimes they get it. Most of the time they don't. They're just like, what? There's that many? What? Yeah, it blows people's minds.
For those of you that are watching, or if you're watching on replay, there are hundreds of pageants here in the United States, and maybe thousands, but I definitely say hundreds for sure. And I mean, I know for me, I've been Mrs. Texas for 5 systems, so kind of was my go-to. I just changed crowns and sashes. I mean, it wasn't at the same time. It was, a year after year after year. But yeah, I mean, and as Mrs. Florida, I've just pretty much done elite as Florida. So no, that's not true. Okay, I have one title of Mrs. Florida, and then a couple of Miss Florida, but it changes, and so you have to find the system that's the right system that fits you at that particular time. So a system that you might have competed in, when you're younger, 5 years or 10 years down the road might not be the right system because you change and your focus changes. So, um, Ava, what made you decide to do this crazy thing called pageantry?
I grew up very much a tomboy. Like I would go out riding four-wheelers in the mud, like I was hunting and fishing. I was the tomboy. And it was later on in high school, I think I was like a junior, and I wanted to try something different. So the local county fair pageant was free if you lived in Tucker County. So I tried that one. It was a lot of fun. It was different. Some of my friends, I went up behind them and was talking to them, and they're like, "Well, wait, Ava, is that you?" Like they didn't recognize me. It was wonderful. And so then I tried again the second year, and I ended up winning the second year, the second go around, and I just kept going from there. And one of the biggest reasons I kept going from there after initially just wanting to try something new and be done with it was because I was told that I couldn't, that I wouldn't make it, that I wasn't good enough by a director. And still to this day, she says those things in my hometown. And still to this day, I'm like, okay, well, I have a national title now. Like, I worked my butt off for this. I worked my butt off, and I had abs when I was competing in swimsuit when you told me I was too big to wear a two piece. Like, you told me I wouldn't make it. I've had 2 state titles. I've had dozens of fairs and little local county titles. Like I did this when you told me I couldn't. Because I'm very much if you tell me I can't, I'm gonna show you I
Bring
can.
it.
Mhm.
And I get that. 2003 when I came back to pageantry, I was competing for Mrs. Texas for a system. I won't say who it was. And the director said, "I think you could win, and I just need you to lose 25 to 35 pounds." And I went,
Well,
I'm a size 14. I was comfortable and confident being a size 14. Didn't have a problem with getting on stage. But I told her, I said, "I'm sorry. I'm not going to try to be what you think I am or what I should be to win your title. So if that's what you want, then I will find another system that works for me." And I did, and I won the state title and then placed at nationals. So even with falling on stage, every pageant title holder's it was right after Miss Congeniality too, so that was even worse. And I totally Sandra Bullocked. I was flat on my face. So, so to be second runner up and have that experience happen, I was like, yay, But it took me 20 years to win a state title. I was like, nationals, who cares? Whatever. Yeah, sure, let's try it. But you have to find the ones that fit for your personality, fit for what feels good to you, and that's hard to find. So I'm glad that you both found the magic in Nationwide and being able to find a place that you feel, confident and that the title was the right title for you. Wear your crowns well. All right, I'm going to ask you some crazy questions. They actually are from inside the Actors Playhouse. I don't know if anybody's ever watched it or either one of you ever watched it. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
but the questions are asked by James Lipton. He passed away a couple of weeks ago. 93, long, long life, but he has interviewed some of the most famous actors and actresses in the world. And this set of questions were designed by psychologists and psychiatrists to really get into you. So it's not hard, I promise you. They're not going to be here to mess you up or just to catch you up, but they really get into why you do this. I don't know who wants to go first. Like we can ask them consecutive. Like I'll ask the question, and then one of you can answer, and the other one. So,
Let Ava go first.
Angela, go first. Okay, Angela.
Ava go first. I'll follow.
Ava goes first as the Miss. You get to go first, followed by the Ms. So there you go. So age before beauty. Neither one of you are both gorgeous, so I didn't even mean that at all. Uh, so, Ava, what is your favorite word and why?
My favorite word, it sounds really funny. It's colloquialism or colloquialistic
Good word. Oh my gosh. Okay, and why?
because it's such a complicated, big, funny sounding word for such a simple, small idea.
And
So
for those people that don't know what it is, please tell us.
it just means like a regional term. It's kind of like local slang. So how in Florida I've heard people tell you like stop being ugly and it means you have a bad attitude, not that you're actually ugly,
Right.
or how in West Virginia where I'm from, we call a shopping cart a buggy.
Right.
It's just different local terms that if you go somewhere else no one has any idea what it means.
In the UK, they call it a lift. We call it an elevator here, stateside. Like it, and it's regionally or nationally as well. They're different. So good word. I like that one. All right. So Angela, what's yours?
I'm supposed to follow that? Seriously?
My favorite word was love. I actually took this test so I could be able to say what mine was. So there you go.
I mean, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, my friends would probably laugh about this. God, this is going to make me sound like a lush, but my favorite word is Jameson because I'm Irish. And when it comes time to sit down with your friends and enjoy the afternoon and talk about life and just kick back, I want a Jameson.
There's nothing wrong with that. And honestly, you've earned the right to be able to do that. That's part of Irish girls for the rule. Well, I'm half Irish, half
Exactly.
Canadian, so I don't know which is. All right. Okay. And then for question number 2, I'll ask Angela first, and then Ava, you're in the hot seat after that. So, Angela, what is your least favorite word and why?
I can't. And that's 2 words, but don't say
No,
can't. Don't say
it
can't.
took me a while to figure out how to say that
Yeah.
without like saying 2 words. So I thought it.
Yeah.
I wrote it
Well,
down.
can't a contraction. So
Yeah.
can't a contraction. So I guess it's 2 words, but I just don't like to hear people say I can't do something. If there's a will, there's a way. Figure it out. There's always someone out there, a resource. Someone's going to help you.
I agree.
Just make it happen.
I agree. All right, Ava, what about you?
Oh goodness. I think my least favorite, and it's something that I do, it washer. Like that's not how it's said. It's
Oh.
water. But where I'm from West Virginia,
And
it's washer.
colloquialisms, that's actually a colloquialism. So there you go. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah.
Like, I hate it, but that's how I say it too. And so I can't with that word.
No, I my mom's from West Virginia, so wait, my mom's family, so I know Warshard. So okay, there you go. All right, so you're Ava and Kenzie, one of our longtime crownies, is on. She just says hi. She's been traveling from college back to her house, so she just popped in to say hello. She will ask hard questions, so I might not ask them, but she will. So I'm just warning both of you ahead of time. We're doing the 10 questions, Kenzie, so keep yours to yourself for just a minute. So, all right. So Ava, you're in the hot seat first. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
I really like painting. Like I'm not very artistic at all, but painting's fun, and even if you think it looks like trash, you can just say that it's abstract art and then all of a sudden it's fine. So it always works even if you think it doesn't.
And it's art. Art is in the eye of the artist, so you can have it be whatever you want. So that's cool. Good. All right, and Angela, what about you? What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
I'm going to go for the creative side. My dream when I was a kid at one point was to be an interior decorator. I have a knack for decorating. I will drive you crazy because, like even the other day, I'm putting out the Easter plates. It's always got to be a touch of every holiday around the house. I have friends who have their businesses, their homes. They all come over and they always ask me, will you come help me decorate my house? And I do it. I don't charge them anything. I just love it. I love to go in and see that empty space and to be able to make it something that my friends or whoever I'm working with can enjoy.
So you paint with the interior. So that's kind of cool. That's a good one. All right. So on the other side of it, Angela, what turns you off?
Oh, I mean, there's so many things in this world I don't like. Where would I start with that? I don't like a bully at all. I don't like it. And even I was out the other night and I had some young girls that just want to, be nasty. So just shut up, and move on. If you got nothing nice to say, keep your mouth shut. That's the way it should be. I don't like that whole, better than thou attitude
Right.
with people. Just be nice and move on,
Get out of my
you
head.
know?
I was thinking that same be better than that whole statement.
Yeah. Well, and I find as I get older, I have less tolerance for that nastiness.
I think we kind of all do. It's just, and I think in today's society with social media, it's really easy for people to bully from behind a keyboard, and
Oh, yeah.
without recognizing the damage that it might be doing. So I agree. Kenzie's like Kenzie says the golden rule is if you can't be nice, just move on.
Hmm. Exactly.
Okay, and then Ava, what about with you? What turns you off?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. That people do need to be a lot nicer and not hide behind a keyboard. If you wouldn't say it to someone's face, don't say that stuff online. Just move on, just drop it. It's not worth it because you wouldn't want those things said to you either.
Right. And by the way, I know your eyebrows they're beautiful. Do you draw them on? Seriously, I
Yes.
and I don't mean to be rude, like, but they're gorgeous. Like, girl, you're gonna have to show me how.
My favorite things back in
Oh,
high
Denise is
school.
on.
Like,
Hey, Denise. Denise was in the hot seat earlier. She interviewed earlier. She's Mrs. Galaxy Canada, so she's on. So thanks for being on, Denise. We appreciate it. She agrees with you too. She says agreed. So, all right. So now, Ava, you're the first one. So you do not have to say the word, but what's your favorite curse word? So you can just say the first word of it. Up, see, made you laugh. Life is good. We've done the good thing. Yeah, there. I will tell you that mine is probably an F word or a C word, and we'll leave it at that.
yeah, I would probably say dang it or probably dumb F with the line of business that I'm in because people sometimes when you work customer service, goodness.
My husband refers to them as Karens. he's like, he's like, he's like that Karen with the haircut. Yes, sweetheart. I call them Becky's, but
Uh-huh.
anyways, but All right, all right. And Angela, what about with you?
I have to agree with you, and I'll have to admit, if I'm aggravated, yeah, I can have a pretty colorful vocabulary, especially when I'm watching the news.
Oh yes,
I yell at the
yes.
TV a
Thank you.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I
and,
probably.
and crazy drivers. Oh my gosh, you want to hear
Oh,
expletives come out of my mouth driving South Florida. And my husband doesn't let me drive anymore because he's afraid I'm gonna like stroke out. So
I used a few of those the other day. I had someone actually sitting on a light. This woman ran into the back of my car, and I got out and I was motioning her to pull over because we were in a big intersection. Anyway, long story short, she just took off. So I chased her down, and yeah, conversation may have been a little colorful.
there's no. First of all, just to say this, and for those people that find that they have colorful conversations, the more colorful you are with the way you speak, it is supposed to be a high sign of higher intelligence. So there you go.
I was Einstein the other day then.
I'm super smart. Your IQ just went great, crazy, off the charts. It's amazing what an accent will do for you. All right. I'm glad we're laughing. I think we need to have more laughing right now. So I think it's super important that we. Do you see what I'm saying? It's conversational. It's not. I'm not trying to to trip you up. I'm not trying. There's no wrong answer to this. Is just like a pageant interview. Like your opinion is your opinion. So, all right. So, Angela, you're the first one on this one. What sound or noise do you love?
The ocean.
Agree.
Nothing better.
It's one of a kind.
Everybody needs a good, yeah, everybody needs some vitamin C in their life. I'd love to hear the ocean.
That is the one thing that's keeping me sane right now is that I live just a couple blocks from the ocean. So we don't have beach where I'm at in Miami, which is great because I don't like sand. So, but the ocean makes me feel normal. So, and the sunlight too, sort of. And what about you, Ava?
I also like running water, like creeks or waterfalls, but a weird one that I like is popping or bouncing noises. So I
Oh,
always have like a little ball that I can bounce at my desk when I'm getting frustrated, or like bubble wrap or
bubble
just
wrap.
weird clicking.
Oh, that's exactly what I thought of. Oh, and stress relief too. When I was a kid, that was like my favorite thing. I'd be like, something was sent in the mail. Did we get any bubble wrap? Oh, I love it. Okay. Okay. And Ava, what sound or noise do you hate?
There's a weird noise that sometimes when I eat pickles, it's like it makes a squeak in my mouth
Oh,
where it squeaks teeth. I just that noise irks me so
do you eat
much.
the refrigerator ones or the regular, like off the shelf ones?
Both. I
Okay.
really like pickles. I just
Because
sometimes
Clausen's, the ones that are from the fridge, they kind of they don't make the squeaky noise. They make a crunch noise, which it's so weird that you said that because I don't eat the regular ones because I don't like this. I don't like
it's just it's
I don't like the
weird. And when
texture
it
too.
happens, I make this weird like head jerk like this, and I'm like, oh, it's so gross of a noise.
Oh my gosh, I found my people. And what about you, Angela?
I think I just hate to hear somebody chomping on their food. It drives me insane. I hate somebody who has bad table manners. So if someone's sitting there chewing real loud or real sloppy with their mouth open, I just want to say, hey, either eat right or go out to the pasture and graze where you're supposed to be, apparently, because I can't deal with it.
Wow,
It
in
drives me
Lakeland, you
insane.
don't deal with anybody that has challenges there. Oh my.
ASMR videos. There are people that they just get like this close. You can only see their mouth, and they eat on camera, and it's very loud. And it makes me instantly angry. I hate that those exist.
Why? Okay, why? Because that's the thing. Like, I mean, I know that the internet is filled with stuff that like there's something for everybody, but I just kind of go, really? Unboxing. Why are you opening a box and showing me what's in the box? Who cares? Like, really?
It's a shock factor. Everybody wants a shock factor now. Everybody wants to see who can outdo the other person and shock them. It's kind of ridiculous, but
It's really banana. I mean, and the fact that I just look at it and I'm like, really?
well, I
Millions of
think we're all
views?
guilty.
What?
But we've all done that. We see that video on social media and you're watching it. And then when it's over, you go, really? I just spent a minute and 20 seconds to watch that?
Right.
And then you're questioning your own sanity by that point.
Well, because you see, like, it's shared by a friend. You're like, oh, what's this? And you open it up and you're like, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I will say, really cool video someone shared with me tonight. It is, if you go to my social media, it's Stacy Velarde or Stacy Simpson on Facebook. If you cannot get to a gym, which many of us cannot, I have now found out by watching this cute little video that if you put a little bit of dishwasher soap or
I
hand
saw
washing
that.
soap, did you see it? And put a little bit of water on it, it works like a treadmill. So you can just walk in place.
Oh my
And I
goodness.
went, oh, and because I was afraid that I was going to be wasting my time. And then I saw it and I went, does it really work? We will be trying it as soon as I get done here. Okay. Uh, all right. So, Angela, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Oh my goodness. I think for me, if I could go back and do something again, had to redo it all again.
Not even redo it
I'd want
all
to go.
again. Just what?
No, I would have to start over, but I probably would have gone more into probably cancer research.
And
I think
is
that's
there a
an
reason?
area. Well, I did lose a husband to cancer, and it's affected my family so many times. It killed my grandmother, unfortunately, years ago, and I'm dealing with it with a family member right now. Again, it's it just seems like every time I turn around, cancer is touching someone close to me or a friend of mine. So I think now, being an adult and you live your life and you see things differently, I would probably want to go into that research to be one of those people to help bring an end to cancer.
Thank you. I appreciate that as a three-time survivor.
Yeah.
So, um, I took a different turn with that idea. Having been a survivor, I worked very strongly with several cancer charities in Texas, raised several millions of dollars, and the team that I helped support actually came up with one of the medications that's now a cure for leukemia. So
Awesome.
it it can be done even if you can't personally do that. It's just finding the right charities that are putting the money in the right place so that you can essentially, fund them so they can be able to hopefully make that difference and be able to hopefully not have you go through those challenges because it's is equally devastating as a caregiver. I've been on both sides of it. I've been a caregiver and a survivor as well, and I think it's sometimes more devastating for the caregivers because there's such a lack of control in what you want to be able to do and be able to make a difference. So I send you much love because I know it's
Thank
hard and you know it's a rough and we shouldn't be having virus outbreaks, but we shouldn't still be dealing with cancer
you. Yes.
after all of this. So oh, Kenzie's making comments about walking on dish soap. Kenzie, just go to my Facebook, watch it. It's funny. And if it works, we'll try it. We'll see. Maybe we'll all start working out in our kitchens. What about with you, Ava? What profession would you like to do if you could?
If I could go back, I would finish the psychology portion of my degree so that I could do sports psychology and hopefully work with professional teams so that they can be on their A game in all assets of everything. What I originally went to school for is cardiac rehab, but it's been so hard to get into that field because they only want to hire part time or the full time positions they have open, they're filling with nurses, which nurses are great at what they do, but they didn't go to school for that. So
It's
it's
a
definitely an
totally different
interesting
animal.
time. Exactly. So, I mean, I love where I'm at right now. I work at a call center as a supervisor for a top leading credit card. Been there less than a year and a half, and I've been promoted three times. So, like, I'm good at what I do, but if I could do it all over again, I would really want to work with athletes. It's a fun time. I've done it before. I loved it.
I will tell you this if you, I mean, and honestly, like my first degree, because I got a couple. My first degree was in international relations because I was going to go to law school. Uh, I actually dropped out right before graduation. Like literally, I had the class load done, and I just said, nope, I don't want to do this. And my parents flipped out because I got accepted to one of the best law schools in the country, and I went, nah, I don't want to do that either. And then 10 years later, went back and got my degree in education, and thought that's what I was going to do. I own a gymnastics company, so uh, I taught gymnastics, but I thought, okay, I want to be a teacher. This is really what my passion is, which it is. That I am an educator. Um, and then spent my last semester doing my in-service training and went, oh my God, 30 kids at the age of 6 and they're nuts. No, I don't want 30 of them by myself. So just kept, I decided to buy a gymnastics company rather than, just be a coach. And then I got my master's. I went back and got my master's 10 years ago in psychology, which or in behavior modification, which I use in gymnastics too, but it's actually specializing in autism. So you never know. Like I mean, I know with me things changed, but if that's something that you're passionate about, I know it doesn't always work out easily to be able to make those educational goals happen because who needs $120,000 in debt? But 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 it can happen. And there's tons of online programs that'll allow you to be able to do that if that's something you really think about. So I'm just saying, not to discourage you. Life can change. It changes, and if that's something you're passionate about, then look into it. And I will tell you also thank you because as a side effect from my original cancer treatments, I have heart failure, and I have or a coronary artery disease that I ended up having to have double bypass 4 or 5 years ago. And if it was not for my cardiac rehab, I wouldn't have done Disney, well, essentially the Disney 10K. But I did it like 4 months after my bypass because of it had been my dream. I just wanted to do Disney. I trained for it like 6 times and then I couldn't do it. Cardiac rehab, if it had not have been for the therapist that I work with, I I I wouldn't be as well rehabbed as I am now. So thank you so much. Oh my gosh, there's so many comments. Hold on a second. Okay, so Kenzie's like, oh my gosh, the mood. Wait a minute, walking on dish soap. Yes, this is a couple of comments back. Um, she says now she's gonna go walk on the walk on dish soap and see if it works. Um, she you know, is studying to be a psychologist because she's recognized, but her major has changed a couple of times because of different challenges and things like that. And then Denise says free online courses are offered by Ivy League universities right now as a sign of solidarity for those in quarantine during the coronavirus pandemic. So if you are going to be working in from home, or if they're giving you that option to do, maybe you can go online and get free tuition and maybe go for that additional degree if that's something you really want to do. So thanks for sharing that, Denise. Thanks, I appreciate it. All right, so what profession, Ava, would you not want to do?
I don't think that I could be a teacher or a daycare worker for small children. Like, I did it one summer for 2.5 months, and the day that they locked me in a room with 8 2-year-olds by myself, I was done. I have such a great deal of respect for those who have the patience to deal with a whole classroom of small children, because sometimes they can be a lot to handle.
I agree. Our gymnastics high point is kids under the age of 6. That's like what we sell the most of because that's my specialty. But my husband, who works with me, has said that if we ever have them organized, we are in so much trouble because he is convinced. I don't know if you ever watched. Oh God, what's the TV show? I can't remember. There's a TV show it's about kids at school, and the kindergartners go off into the side, and the other kids don't go near them because they look like organized chaos. And my husband has decided that if the 3-year-olds ever start to work together, and we have a couple that we're pretty sure would be the ringleaders. One of us actually, when we do camp, she's 5 now, but last summer the girls were all playing and they were playing superheroes, and she walked up to my husband. She goes, "I'm the super villain."
Wow.
And I was like, and it was so funny because when we put it on Facebook, we didn't say names or anything. The mom messaged me. She goes, "That was my daughter, wasn't it?" And I was like, yes, we're just hoping she doesn't get everybody organized because it could. I mean, the kids are scared. I mean, you'd be surprised things that I've heard. Anyways, all right. And what about with you, Angela? What profession wouldn't you want to do?
When you asked that question, I thought about my nephew was asked this a few years ago and it cracked me up. He goes, I wouldn't want to be one of those suicide bomber guys. I don't want to have to take my own life for anybody. And that always stuck with me because that was his answer. And I thought, man, you're 9 years old. That was a good answer because you're
See?
right. Who would want that job? Exactly. So we go back to these kids and what's going on in their heads. But I think in reality, and I give these people credit, but when I go to the children's hospitals and I visit and stuff, it's emotionally draining on me. And I think to be like a pediatric oncologist or something like that and have to deal with that day in and day out, I give those people a tremendous amount of credit. I don't know, my heart couldn't handle it, but we need those people and I give them a lot of credit. I just know for me, emotionally, for my own well-being, I could not do that on a day in and day out basis.
Yeah, I I was telling Denise earlier because Denise, her platform is just dealing with children. She had a baby almost a year ago, and she said that like her whole focus in pageantry changed when she had a child, because she became very aware that there are kids out there that have need. And I shared with her an organization that I've worked with called the 4-Day Foundation, which hosts parties for kids that are going through cancer treatments. And I remember the first uh, time I hosted a party, I was really anxious about it, because I thought, you know, yes, I've had that experience. I know as an adult going through it, how is it going to be with a child? And it was so warm for me, because the kids just are so resilient, and they're not afraid to tell you what they're thinking, and they're not afraid to share their experiences, good and bad. Like, they don't have filters, so they just. But it was very heartwarming to have those moments where, I said, "Well, I had cancer too," and they're like, "Yeah, let me see your port."
Right.
Right here. Like, can I see yours? Like, I mean, things like that you don't expect. You don't expect adults to talk like that, but for kids, they don't see it quite the same way. And some of my best memories in pageantry have been those parties, because kids, despite what we think as adults is worst case scenario, are them just going, "Okay, we're at the doctor."
Mm-hmm.
you know um I mean, and obviously I'm not discounting it. It's still heartbreaking as an adult. I mean, the first party, I walked outside and just cried afterwards like a baby. But then I realized they needed that normalcy, and it was so important to offer that. And these nurses and these doctors try to give that to them, and the child life people that are in the hospitals are trying to give them normalcy. And I think that's important too, because you know, kids see the world differently, and that's kind of fun sometimes. Oh my goodness! Hold on, Kenz. Hold on. She's wrote, "I'm a super villain." It really happened, Kenzie. We got two more questions. Hold tight. She's got questions for you. Okay. Well, Angela, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You did good.
You did good.
That would be all I need to hear. You did good. Come on in. And
Come
then I'll just go see all my friends and we'll keep doing good, I hope.
and you'll go get some Jameson, and it'll all be good.
There'll be a party. There will be a party. First person I'll look for is Grams, and then my husband and a bunch of my friends and all my little puppies that I've lost over the years. But yeah, I just would like to know you did good. You did good.
What about you, David?
That everything was worth it. Everything that I went through, and to just show me this is the impact that it had. This is why you went through that.
Amen. My best friend 10 years ago passed away from cancer. And a couple of days before she passed away, she looked at me, she goes, "What would you want to hear at your eulogy?" And that was a very sobering question, because I had been given 8 weeks to live 13 years before that. And I said, "I don't know. I never thought about that." Um, and that was what I thought. If I could have affected one life, if I could have had an impact on one person, that's what I would want to hear at my eulogy. And so that's kind of where this question comes from. That same idea is that, is your life been purposeful, and what was that purpose for you? So
Exactly.
good things. All right, Kenzie, now your questions. Oh my gosh, she's got them backing up. I'm going to warn you both. She has this notebook with questions in them. They are some of the hardest pageant questions I've ever had to answer. So, okay. So the first, you got lucky earlier, Denise, because she had to run the errand. All right. So Angela, if there were any word in the dictionary that isn't already there, if you could add any word to the dictionary, what would it be, and why? So a word that is not there right now. I told you.
I, that's crazy. I can't even think of a word. I mean, that blows my mind. I don't even know. I mean, every word that we've actually started using, like The Simpsons and dough and all that stuff, they end up
They all
adding it
started
anyway.
adding. Mine is
I mean, honestly, I can't think of a single word. As I said, when I get mad, my vocabulary gets a little out of hand, and those words are all in there, whether we like them or not. So I'm not sure. That's an interesting question. I'm
Isn't
going to
it?
keep
Isn't it?
that.
Isn't it a good? It's a, if you judge, like, isn't that a great question?
Yeah, that is kind of because it throws you off. I can't think of anything.
All
I
right.
can't
Oh, so Ava,
say.
what would you add? and why?
It stumped me.
Judge. Like how people are like, just
Yeah,
judge it up a little.
zhuzh it up a little. I
'Cause
think zhuzh has been added since, but
I
yeah,
don't know.
no,
Like every time I pick my phone and I try to do like voice to text, it doesn't know
oh,
what
it
I'm
did.
talking about
Oh, that's
either.
true. I didn't
Like
think.
I can't find it.
Oh, now I know how we can look it up. I didn't even think of voice to text, but you would have to assume that anything that's not in voice to text is not in the dictionary because the all of the artificial intelligence will pick up things that are already zhuzh. And
Yeah.
zhuzh means to fix yourself, make yourself look. Hey, I like that one. All right. Kenzie's got another one. Oh gosh. All right. I love her. She started off as she doesn't compete in pageants. She started following us 4 years ago, and the friendship has become a real friendship. We talk almost every day. But
That's awesome.
she has through the years started this catalog, this book that she keeps questions in. So all right, so Ava, you're gonna like this one, I think. I don't know. If you were living in a movie or game universe, what would it be and why?
Oh, I would definitely choose a video game universe because I play a lot of video
Ooh, you're a
games,
gamer. What do you
and that
play?
that is something that came up in my interview at nationals too. And then one of the judges ended up being like, I sense a little nerd in you. And I'm like, oh honey, you sense a whole lot.
So what do you play? Seriously.
I play mostly my Nintendo Switch right now,
Oh,
but I also have the Xbox One, so I switch back and forth. But mainly right now it's the Switch, and here in just about 3 days, Animal Crossings comes out, and I'll get to just live in my own little fantasy world for a few days.
I am a beta tester. Well, I was a beta tester for World of Warcraft, and I have to admit that we opened up the. I haven't played in years, but I opened up the account again yesterday. So my husband and I are going down a deep rabbit hole that we may not come out of. I am legit geek. Like from the very beginning, from Pong forward, I have played. I don't do first person shooters because I can't. I'm too realistic for me. But yeah. Oh, and Kenzie says Animal Crossing for the Switch. Yes. so, and she laughed. She goes, "I stumped someone about the question." So, all right. So, Angela, what movie or game universe would you like to be in and why?
All right, I have to tell you straight away, I do not do the whole gaming thing. I actually bought a Switch for my grandchildren for Christmas, and they opened it and they brought it to me, and I go, I don't know anything about it. Go see your mother. I don't understand that stuff. It's no. And I like the old classics. I would like to be part of like an old classic movie, and I'm trying to think of maybe like Casablanca. I like the
Ooh.
gangster type stuff and stuff like that too. I find it intriguing. So yeah, I would go for like one of those old wild, crazy gangster classic movies.
Ooh, that
Be
was
that damsel in distress, but also that little badass too.
see. I think, and my husband always laughs because I didn't watch. Well, I know I didn't. I wasn't allowed to watch movies, so I didn't watch Disney movies. Like it wasn't until I was a teenager that I started finding my cinematic. So I haven't seen Jaws. I haven't seen Rocky. I haven't seen any of the. I haven't seen Casablanca. I haven't seen any of the Godfathers. Like most of the Disney movies before the Little Mermaid, I haven't seen. So, but they're all coming out in live action, so we're good. um, so my husband is always like, "Don't you know this?" And he'll make a comment. I'm like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." It wasn't until Breakfast Club came out that or 16 Candles that I went, something I can relate to. And my husband goes, "There is a world outside of John Hughes movies." So
That is true.
eventually, I mean, you would think even with today's technology, I just don't. I don't. I'd rather be gaming. So Ava, I'm with you. Oh gosh, Kenzie, these people have lives. She's got an. Are you guys open for another one?
Yeah, I've got time to do one more.
Okay. If you, Angela, if you were featured in the news, what would it be and why? Local news.
And the local news, well, I've actually been there before. I like when they decide not to blow our minds with all this doom and gloom. This is one of my gripes in the world. You turn on the news, it's doom and gloom. You flip the channel, that one's got doom and gloom. You go out and get the morning paper, you got to go back 3 or 4 pages before you can find a good story. I just like to be featured. Hey, local woman helps a group of kids do something or did something positive for the community. That would make me happy.
Awesome. And what about you, Ava? What would you like to be on the local news for? Why?
It's the same thing, just going out and doing something that's positive so that it's not always something negative that you see everywhere. And being from such a small town that I am, from Parsons, West Virginia originally, it wasn't hard when I still lived there and was competing to get in the local news because not a lot happened. So I look fondly upon those memories because I know that those few years it was filled with positive stuff with me on the front page. Oh, she won another pageant. Oh, she did this with her title again, kind of thing.
I'm still waiting for that to happen. I'm like, come on. That I mean, I've done national news, so I well, Angela, you have too. So, so well, I mean,
Yeah,
I,
that's thorn in my side.
dude, like my I don't necessarily care if I do national news again, but I do want to be on Ellen. So that's goals. So.
That would be fun. That would be fun. By the way, I got to tell you, Ava, you met Rod when I was competing. My boyfriend, Rodio, he's from West Virginia. And so I went with him last year to his hometown. They did a Cherry River Festival. And I was in the parade. And you're right. Those little towns up
So
there, they
cool.
love their pageant girls. They absolutely love them. And I also want to tell you this, because you're talking about the things you guys may say that are different in West Virginia. He says soda pop.
I
You're
say
going to get a
pop.
soda pop?
I say pop.
It drives me crazy. It drives me
Yeah.
up soda pop. He says a few other things I think are crazy, but apparently they're West Virginia words. I don't know. But he always says, "You want to go get a soda pop?"
I say
Mm-hmm.
pop. My husband says soda. When I lived in Texas, they call everything Coke. Pepsi is Coke. That
Yeah,
was so
everything's
weird
Coke.
for me. I was like, what? So yeah, colloquialisms. There you go. All right. I will ask you. I know you said one more question, but I haven't asked my question. My question, Ava, do you like frogs? Why or why not? Stop laughing. There's a reason behind it, but go ahead.
That's my initial reaction to everything. It's awful. Like, I laughed at one of my friend's funerals a few months ago in front of his mom. Like, I laugh at everything. It's fine. But yeah, I like frogs. I think they're cute. They're fun in coloring books. Green's one of my favorite colors. I don't really like toads, but frogs are
No,
okay.
toads are not good. And then what about you, Angela? Do you like frogs? Why or why not?
That kind of opens a whole nother side of me. So I actually have an airboat, and I have a place in the Everglades, and we go frogging.
Are you
And so,
serious?
so I know how to go what they call frog gigging,
Oh
Yep.
and I
my
know how to stick the
gosh.
frog, put it in the patch. I will not eat them. I will not clean them. I think it's disgusting. You will never see me eat a frog. No, you can tell me they taste like chicken. I'll tell you you're crazy. It's not going to happen. But anyway, yeah, I can actually I frog gig.
Yeah.
Oh
You can
my
go out and
gosh, that's so
I'll eat
cool. Are you serious? That's so cool. Oh my God. Like now I want to go to Lakeland and go out because I've never been in the Everglades. I'm so afraid of snakes. Like I'm terrified. I love frogs, but no, not snakes. I mean, even alligators. I've been on. There's a part of the Everglades that's down here that you can walk down, and the alligators climb up on the side to sun themselves on this pathway. I was okay with 30 alligators walking down this path, but I saw a snake and I was out. That was it. I was done. So,
Well, my place is in Everglades. I haven't had a problem with the pythons. I'm down in what they call 3A of the Everglades,
uh
this
huh.
place that we have down there. But haven't had a problem with the snakes yet. I know they're there. The alligators are everywhere. I love it. I love an alligator.
I do too.
Probably my
Which
favorite animal.
I think they're so okay. So I will tell you the frog question. The reason that we started asking it was because so that we could get people out of pageant mode and try to get them into real life. So you guys both told us, the little stories about yourself. So the very first time that I asked it live, like not just doing practice interviews, was Pia Warsbach, Miss Universe, and she gave me such a real answer. She went, "No, I don't like them when I was a kid." And from that moment on, I got a real non-pageant answer, but like got to see her for real, and that's why we asked that question. So I know it's a silly question, but there is a method to the madness. All right, so Angela, what would you like to tell everybody that we haven't talked about already?
The reason, when Troy sent the thing out and he said, hey, you guys will be able to do this, again, I've been doing pageantry now off and on. I came back this past year, and I was just going to say, it's not for everybody. You do get out of it what you put into it. I actually had a pageant coach say to me one time, I don't like these girls who end up getting their titles and then you don't see them. He goes, I used to joke they should put them on the side of a milk carton. I said, have you seen this title holder? And
my
I thought
gosh,
that was a great
it's true.
analogy because it's
It's
true.
true.
But I enjoy it. It's not for everybody. If you do it, don't be one of those, I don't like those pageant patty type women. Get into it because you have a real reason and a real purpose, and find a pageant system that works for you. Do your homework, do your research. There's good and bad in pageantry, just like there is in softball teams and everything else. You got to do your homework. And I'll just put this plug in there for Troy because I do think I did my research before I came back after being gone for 10 years. I really do appreciate the whole platform that Troy has put together. I thought it was awesome that while we were there, we did a field trip out where we actually went to homeless shelter and we all worked and we fed people. He really does have a true passion, and that's the type of director that I want to work with.
Awesome. And then Ava, about with you?
Absolutely. Like, Troy is everything for us. Like, even today, I got in the mail a little card about St. Patrick's Day. He always is sending us things, doing things for us all the time, not just for the pageant. It's through our whole year. He's very supportive. Highly recommend, 10 out of 10. And pageantry, like she said, it's not for everybody, but it is at the same time. There's no age, there's no size, there's no specific look for it. If you are willing to put in the work, you can do it. And one of my favorite pageant stories, even above winning my national title, I forced my mamaw to do a pageant with me once. It was just a fairs and festivals title, but they had a grandma division. And she kept coming up with excuse after excuse. Well, we found a dress that was in her size at a yard sale for $20. It was her favorite color. It was purple. I was like, well, now you have a dress. No excuse. Oh, well, I can't afford it. Well, the director did a Krispy Kreme fundraiser. If you sold this many boxes, it paid for your entry fee. Yeah, I sold that many boxes for her. I'm like, I think your entry fee. No excuses. Well, I don't know how to do the paperwork. Did her paperwork. No excuses. And drug her out to it. She got almost a perfect score on everything. She won the title. I won it. We both had matching titles for a year, and she was through the roof on it. And then she was always like, well, are we going to be in a parade now? Are we going to go and do this? Do I have to wear my crown? She was adorable, and I loved it. I had an entire year just being a sister queen with my mamaw, and even though she didn't quite know how to do everything, like, she nailed it, and she was willing to go to the events and help out with everything. So it doesn't matter how old you are. My mamaw is almost 70, so if she can do it and she can put in the work, so can you. And it can be for everybody if you're willing to do it.
Well, I think that's one of the magics of multi-division pageants as well, like nationwide, is that it gives opportunities for, I think it would be cool to be able to have that opportunity. I even look at like in the system, I'm the reigning Mrs. Perfect Glamour International. We've got 6 divisions right now, ranging from 6 to 53, which is me. Of course, there's a huge 30-year difference between me and my miss, but like, but I love that they look up to me, and I love that we have that ability to have that. It really becomes even more of a sisterhood because you're there to support each other. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight. I really appreciate it. If people want to find you, I put Miss Nationwide 2019. So Ava, I don't know if you wanted to give your personal information, and then for you, Angela, I put as Miss Nationwide 2019. I don't know if you guys want to share that or not, but I know that they can get in touch with Troy if they want to be able to find you too. So if you want to share your
Absolutely.
social media, you say it now, or leave it. Bless you. Leave it in chat if you want to as well. It's up to you.
Yeah, they
I
can
think
find us through the nationwide system through Troy's website. And then he did set up Facebook pages for all of us. And once you go there, you can find the links to be able to get in touch with us. And, you and I are close enough. So I need to hook up with you
Yeah,
and we can,
no doubt. Like seriously, and you know, and I'm up there all the time. Like I spend way more time. Well, I haven't lately, but we spend a lot of time in the Central Florida rather than down here. So we definitely have got to do something. So all right.
absolutely.
All right, ladies, I am going to tag you out of this. You are free to go. Thanks for being on.
Awesome.
We
Thanks
appreciate
again.
it. Have a good night, guys. Thank you so much for being here.
All
And
right.
thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye. Ava, if you want to stay on, or are you just going to just close up the chat, you can.
okay, I honestly don't know how it works.
All
Like
right.
she went away. I
Uh,
don't know how to.
okay, hold on. Let me tag you out. They cannot see you, and then just a second. Oh, Kenzie put everything on in the chat so everybody knows how to find you guys. So hold on one second. All right, let me disconnect you. Thanks so much, Ava. Oh, thank you, Kenz. I appreciate it. Kenzie, of course, is my ride. There you go. And then for Angela and Ava on Facebook. All right. Thanks, guys, for being here. We appreciate it. For all of our crownies, without you, there wouldn't be someone to watch the videos. So we really appreciate you being here, being part of the family, and supporting us, asking questions. Without you, we'd be talking to each other, which is better than talking to a screen, which is the way we all started out with this show. Grateful as always. I hope everybody stays safe. Be kind to one another. Thanks, Kens. Because at the end of the day, we really do need a lot of kindness to be able to get through the challenges we're facing right now, internationally, not just as a nation. And so be out there, be able to help if you can. But remember, keep social distancing because we don't want you to help and get sick. So thank you for being here. And if you haven't already, please like us here on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube. We have different information on all the different sites. We will do in a whole lot more interviews this week and next week because I got nothing else to do. Thanks, Susan. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here, Susan. I appreciate it. Stay healthy and stay safe as well. And to everybody, there you go. Oh, my goodness. And we really appreciate you guys supporting. I hope I'm assuming you're Chelsea's mom, so we hopefully she's doing well too. And with that, it is a wrap, and I will see you guys. Do I have one tomorrow? I think I have one. I have one tomorrow, so I will see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one. Bye.